Hello. Hi. Hi, I'm Heath Kimball. I am here to show you my recent purchase from Heretic Perfumery. They're a fragrance brand based in Los Angeles, California, and I have been absolutely obsessed with them, especially since last December, a little bit before that, for their Nosferatu fragrance, and I absolutely fell in love with that. I haven't even touched my own bottle of it. I just keep getting travel sizes of it and not touching the bottle anyways. So today I have their new fragrance, HÄXAN, and their Ghosts collection. It's a small collection of fragrances that they don't have in full sizes. Hopefully they will eventually, but I am looking forward to trying them. I will have to admit, I have sprayed HÄXAN. I had to open it. I had my own little personal experience with it, and it blew me absolutely away. But I tried to wait a while I had the fragrance and just kind of forgot about it. Kind of forgot all the notes, tried to forget so I could have a decently honest review. But let's get into it. So, First of all, Heretic's packaging is always phenomenal. They really care about their customers, and they just know what's up. They take good care of anyone who purchases from them or supports them in any way. But this time, I wasn't expecting a newspaper. The Nosferatu came with the newspaper for the movie, talking about the movie and the fragrance and everything. But this time, they have it's basically a holiday magazine, holiday collection, a very gory holiday. It is right here. Let me show it to you. Hang on. And it has the one and only Miss Dita Von Teese on the front cover. Who else? Let's see. So gorgeous, so cool, so beautiful. And this is the very back. That's me. Not really. I wish. Very beautiful. And the thing about this newspaper, this what would you call it? I don't know. This article that they send you is basically telling a massive story. It starts with a prologue. This is really, really difficult for me to film at the moment because I'm cross-legged in this very old chair that came with this really old writing desk. I'm not going to get into every single piece of the paper, the articles and everything, but I will say a little bit about each thing and give you a gist of what this consists of. The pictures for this, the people, the models, the MUAs, everything that went into this, the art, the storytelling is so beautiful. It's so good. And when I first opened it and I started reading through everything, it is so well written. And all of the imagery, the explanations of the fragrances, because it talks about all of their new home mist sprays. I was just like, in the middle of it, I was like, oh my God, these are my people. These are my people. And I was like, this is it. And it was very cool. But let me read you the beginning of the page. It was a bitter winter indeed, the sort that curled fog around wrought iron gates and silenced even the most persistent of carolers within the crumbling confines of Heretic House, a mansion perfumed by mystery and scandal. There stirred an unsettling sense of festive delight. The chandeliers swayed, though no one had touched them, and a raven in the vestibule recited the names of the naughty with perfect enunciation. And so it begins, a very gory holiday. For the peculiar aunt who collects antique lace and curses, the dashing uncle who smells faintly of gunpowder and bergamot, that's me, and the oddly silent child who prefers crisps to candy canes, we present our holiday offerings. These are gifts not meant for the faint of heart or the fragrance averse, but for the beautifully strange, the gloriously irreverent, and those who delight in the shadowed corners of joy. Peruse, if you dare, this curation of exquisite olfactory oddities, perfumes bottled under a new moon, incense born of forgotten rituals, candles that flickered to unseen music. Each is wrapped in whispers, tied with string, possibly sinew, and guaranteed to raise an eyebrow, a spirit, or both. This season, don't give cheer, give chills. And I love it. And look at this, the terrors of Christmas. Look how gorgeous she is. So beautiful. Throughout the articles in the newspaper, there are illustrations done by the wonderful Mr. Edward Gorey, and they are all throughout it, and they basically inspired Donald Douglas Little, the founder and chief executive officer of Heretic Parfum. It inspired Donald Douglas Little to make these scents for the holidays, but not to have a specific, like that specific Christmassy joyous feel, but to kind of unearth more of an uneasy, mysterious, just general darker yet elegant tone to Christmas and the holiday season itself, and I love it. And it speaks right right to me. He wanted to bring all of that out for this season and bring that out through his scents, which he is a master of, and I can't get enough of them. They're the most beautiful fragrances I've ever smelled. They're vegan and cruelty free, and but he has all of the fragrances that I've tried for them has this very um, unique scent to them. It's extremely, extremely unique, and that's what I love. Um, it's taken me quite a while to find them and be able to get enough of their fragrances to really consider them my favorite fragrance house. And but it was well worth the wait because I just obsess over it and I talk to everybody about it. And I've become quite a olfactory nerd within the past 5 years. So with these fragrances, I cannot wait to try them. I'm ordering them ASAP, and I just want to show you some of Edward Gorey's pictures next to the fragrance bottles themselves. They're just gorgeous. And you get a lot in them. So with these, so they're 200 milliliters. They're $48. Very, very reasonable. I love it. One is fruitcake, plum, nutmeg, vanilla. That one is pretty much Christmas in a bottle. This is one that I will be ordering. The Evil Garden room spray. Rose geranium, English mint, and black apples. English mint. Anything with mint in it, I'm obsessed with pretty much. The Haunted Tea Cozy, which I love. It's kind of camp. Bergamot, black tea, and cedar. I would use that all year round. And then Tannenbaum room spray. Balsam, oak moss, and juniper. Now that one is very winter specific to me. I love that, and it's just all gorgeous. But one thing that I adore about this these newspapers that they gave me, is that there is this cast of 13 fragrant familiars conjured to assist in surviving the season's greetings. So the way I see it, it's kind of 13 people, 13 entities, 13 my cat just busted down my door. Hi baby. Yeah. Say something. No, she just wants to attack it. 13 entities, 13 people who are, as I see it, kind of like archetypes in a way. And it goes into detail of each and every one that they've created, and it's different people. I'm not exactly sure who each one is. I know some of them, like Jessica Hayes. She's a well-known makeup artist, and She looks absolutely stunning in these pictures. Dita Von Teese is also one of them, and there is a handful of others that I want to want to show you. This familiar I immediately was attracted to. It is the cinephile. It's the first one you come into contact with in the newspaper article. And so they have already existing fragrances linked up with the familiars to give you kind of the essence of that entity, that familiar, that person. So let me show you. Very cool. I love the just all black and white, the the poses, the direction, the mixture of Edward Gorey's illustrations mixed with these. They're all models. They're all just extremely beautiful people. But this one, the Cinephile, has Midnight Toker and Dirty Suede connected to it, and I am dying to try Midnight Toker. That's on my next list, but HÄXAN had to come first. She is every frame of a film noir spliced into a single woman, masculine angles softened by feminine shadows, always appearing as though she's just stepped out of a reel you're not entirely sure you were supposed to be watching. Draped in tailored suits one night and backless gowns the next, she embodies contradiction. Predator and muse, ingenue and assassin. Love that. Love that. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. You just gotta buy something from them and get this yourself. You cheap bitch. Get it. There's also the dandy. Who has Bloodberry connected to him. This talks about the haunted tea cozy. Perfect for parlors where nothing has laughed since 1893. And then look at this beautiful construction, this collage and mixed media print they have put together. Hang on. And that's as far as I'm gonna go into that, just to give you kind of the rundown on what that is. Now let's get to the meat of the video, the fragrances. First, I am going to start with the Ghost collection. Geister, something in German. Geister. Now let's get into the Ghost collection. And of course, with every Heretic bottle you buy, you get impeccable packaging, as I said before. This one came wrapped in black ribbon, and it had this tied to it, which I just absolutely adore. Has my name from Heretic on it, and then it has one of Edward Gorey's illustrations on the back. I absolutely love this. I think this is so sweet and so kind of them to do for me and other customers. It's so beautiful. And then the box. Now, they definitely do not let you down with the freebies you get. I got a freebie of the Corpse Reviver hand serum, which I'm dying to get that coffret that they made for the hand serum and the hand serum itself. And then they scented the inside of the box with their fragrance Cactus Abduction. And it says this box has been fragranced with Cactus Abduction. It comes with this cute little card. And then you got the beautiful wax seal. I believe this is an Edward Gorey print on tissue paper. It's super cool. Very lovely. And then I don't know if you would consider this, I don't think, you might consider this Zine or whatever, but here's a little picture of Cactus Abduction. I will be getting this for the summer. It smells insanely beautiful. It's fresh, it's deep, it's strange, and it reminds me of being abducted by aliens. Like, I don't know if there was a scent that alien abduction smelled like, it would smell like this. It's amazing. And then another piece, a blood box. It talks about what comes in the blood box. Many of their blood fragrances. Guerre Noir. I have a sample of this. I love it, and I'm not even super into. I believe there's rose in this. It's Rose Road Labdanum and then Madagascar Vanilla. I got a heavy rose scent, and I loved it. I loved it. So let's get into this. I am dying to open this. So it comes in this Geister Ghost. And she is in there. She is tight. So you gotta really wrestle it a little bit. Carefully wrestle. Never mind, it came up pretty easy. And you have this beautiful little box. Very dense paper, cardboard. Very dense cardboard. I'm so excited. Okay, it comes with a booklet, thankfully, more than likely talking about each fragrance and why they made these. But it comes with all of these. Very, very excited. Now, I have tried one of these fragrances in here before, and it is Poltergeist. It's one of their, I would say one of their staple fragrances, and I am obsessed with it. It is so herbaceous and smoky and beautiful and witchy and ghostly. My cat is clawing at the door. Kitty! Kitty, what are you doing? Okay. So I have nothing on my skin at the moment. I am just gonna start with the first one at the top, and that would be ectoplasm. Ectoplasma, excuse me. Ectoplasma. I'm gonna spray them and smell them first, and then go into the description. They're very nice, small glass spray samples. Very nice. Ooh. Kitty. Kitty. What are you doing? Okay. Oh, I'm excited. I gotta smell it. Whoa. Whoa. There's what I'm getting most of all from it, I love it, is kind of a powdery, herbaceous, verdant scent, but of course, way more complex than that. It smells very, what I would consider sensual and beautiful. Like if I smelled this on really anyone, I'd be like, gonna just like, I wanna lick you, but it's not food. It's not a food scent, it's just like a very attractive scent. Very sexy. The body trembles, the veil thins, something seeps through. There is a moment during the seance when the breath stills and the air thickens. Not with smoke, but with presence. Ectoplasma is that presence made scent, a silken exudate from the unseen, slipping between realms with viscous grace. Slipping between realms with vicious grace. Black water lotus blooms from darkness, wet aquatic narcotic. Ambergris drifts like a salt-laced echo, animalic and ancient. Mate absolute cuts through with green shadow bitter and tannic, while wool grease absolute clings to the skin like memory, soft, fatty, intimate. Threaded through it all is a ghost accord, a cold flicker of camphor and candle wax, ozone, chilled breath, and the faint sweetness of something once warm. Ectoplasma does not reveal itself all at once. It pulses, it spreads, it stains the space behind you. Not perfume, but apparition, a presence that wears you. So from that, oh my god, it's so beautiful. The ambergris and the wool grease absolute really bring in this, just this like animalic, deep, sensual, attractive scent. And it lures you. This one definitely is an alluring fragrance. And then the wet aquatic narcotic black water lotus blooms. That part also brings a clean crispness to it that I find very, very attractive. And then the mate absolute, that's that verdant, herbaceous note that I really, really love. Ectoplasma is gorgeous and haunting, definitely. Like, I will be thinking about this one for a while. That has to be made into a full fragrance. It has to. That is just insane. Now the next one is Fantasmino. a deeper, muted peridot shade, which gives me excitement. Similar shade to Poltergeist. Whoa. This one is very strong. I smell it immediately, even from my hand. Like it is, if this was a ghost, this would be one that is hanging onto, latched onto you. Not one that just kind of lingers around and moves a handful of things around, but this one would be definitely closer to something a little more malevolent. I can smell it. That is wild. Oh my god, that is beautiful. It's like dare I say, a sister or cousin to Poltergeist. Extremely herbaceous, but there's something different about it. This one projects, and if this was a ghost, this would haunt you in your dreams. The scent opens like a vanished memory, burnt sugar warm and golden, hovering at the edge of caramel and smoke. Then come the violets, crushed and candied, fresh from a bouquet no one remembers picking. The air shivers with lightness and static. Something is circling, a presence just behind your breath. There's brightness, a touch of joy, but it never settles. It moves, it hides, it vanishes, and when it does, it leaves you wondering if it was ever there at all. Phantasmino is lovely, it's disturbing, and it doesn't like to say goodbye. I definitely get that from this fragrance. It has those sweet notes to it, but there's something sharp and dark to it. It has a real edge. It is playful, and I wouldn't recommend it for people who aren't interesting, but and don't have an open mind to fragrance. And now that it has settled, that real sharp edge that you get when it first lays on the skin has softened a little bit, and now more of that that almost caramel sugar and that candied violet really starts to come through. It's beautiful. I consider all fragrances unisex, but with this one, I would say it can, especially on the dry down, it can lean a little more feminine. So I think so, but it's really all unisex to me. I'd wear this any given day, literally at any time. I would pick this fragrance especially for a spring fragrance because of that violet that's in it, and that herbaceousness. Yeah, I definitely see it. Never mind, I'd wear it all the time. It's just very good. The next fragrance is In Between. This one I'm very excited about. I don't know why, just intuitively, the the wording in between, the in between, um, really catches my attention. Ozonic. It smells like electricity. I'm obsessed with that. Wait. It lingers in the nose in a very specific way. How um, that is amazing. Like, it smells like electricity. So I live in Louisiana, and we have quite tropical weather down here, and it rains a lot, and but it's also extremely hot most of the year, and during the summer times and the springtime and the fall time, really, these massive storm clouds will come rolling in, and they will be exploding with heat lightning, just explosion after explosion, and it looks like fireworks going off within these massive clouds. And with those clouds and the thunderstorm coming in, um, there is this there's this scent in the air, this ozonic scent, and that's what this smells like to me. It smells like it smells like nighttime in Louisiana in the middle of summer with a massive storm coming in with lightning just cracking and exploding and just giving you the most beautiful celestial light show you can get in Louisiana. It's I can't wait to read the description of this. That is so amazing. That is extremely unique. I've never smelled something in a fragrance like this before. It's so strange. Like, when you initially first smell it, it has this petrichor violet like fragrance, and then when you take your nose away from it, it lingers, and that's where this ozonic electricity comes into play. It's so It gives me chills. It's very beautiful and a very nostalgic scent, which that's how you know you are um, getting scents from a master perfumer, when you can get a brand new fragrance, but it brings you back, just way back in time, over a decade. And it reminds me of my childhood in a way, in a dark way, in a beautiful way. This is In Between. Not quite here, not quite gone. A hush between inhale and exhale, where everything holds its breath. There is a place that resists naming, a narrow passage between presence and absence, where time loses direction and the air grows still with possibility. In between is the scent of that threshold, a fragrance suspended in the scene between worlds, between thoughts, between selves. It begins with the cool green clarity of Siberian fir and petitgrain sur fleurs, sharp yet softened like pine needles under early fog. The heart beats slow beneath it, oak moss damp and breathing, vetiver rooty and cool, cedar dry as old paper, thin as if summoned from below, frankincense, Freriana rises, sweet, clear, reverent. Labdanum hums beneath it, sticky and golden, pulling warmth from the shadows. Threaded throughout, a ghost accord, chilled air, candle smoke, the memory of a sound. And behind it all, embretellide, a soft skin musk that glows like breath against glass. In between does not speak, it listens. It lingers where the known dissolves into wonder, neither arrival nor departure, but the strange, sacred beauty of everything that happens just before. This is by far my favorite of the three I've smelled so far. This one gave me chills. It is giving me chills. Everything. This one is really hitting home for me. It is so gorgeous. If I had to say what I smelled like, it would be this. I would want to cover myself in this, and there is something so, I don't know, me about it. It also unfamiliar, but it's an extremely familiar scent, but nothing I've ever smelled in a fragrance before. In between, I knew my intuition was correct. In between is my favorite so far. I think I would even put In Between above Poltergeist. It's that good. It is. God, that is just magic. That is pure, unadulterated magic. It's beautiful. Just now what I'm smelling at first, like you definitely get the cool green clarity of Siberian fig and petitgrain souffleurs. That comes through. Sharp yet softened, yes. And then the heart, oak moss, damp and breathing. Yes, yes, yes. And then the vetiver, rooty and cool. Vetiver oil is extremely cleansing to me, and it's one of my favorite oils to have in my collection, and it's one that I use to ground myself during meditation. Quite often, that and honeysuckle oil. And then the cedar, dry as old paper, that comes through, and for some reason, that combination with the rest of everything, it gives an atmosphere to this fragrance. The frankincense rises, sweet, clear, reverent. The labdanum also, the labdanum and the frankincense also really bring it down to that Louisiana summer atmosphere, haunting. And then it talks about a ghost accord, chilled air, candle smoke, the memory of a sound, and that ghost accord, whatever it is, it is it's sending me. It's the cherry on top. It's the that note that is really captivating me. It is captivating. So good. Please make this one into a full size. Please, please. And then Umbrella-Lied Soft Skin Musk. Glows like breath against glass. It's just that one. Whew. Whew. Now I know what Poltergeist smells like. I am almost out of my samples that I have of it, and I'm ready to buy my big bottle because it is one of my favorites, and it smells like, to me it smells like witchcraft. It smells like the mixes of herbs and resins. It smells like divination to me. It smells like 3 a.m. It smells like just you're covering yourself and anointing yourself with many different sacred oils, and you're surrounded by many verdant plants. And let me read you what they say. Poltergeist is the scent of a sacred disturbance, a sharp herbal charge wrapped in smoke and splinters. And that's one thing that I love about it. Extremely smoky, extremely herbal, and it is gorgeous. And I contemplate on having that one as like my main scent, like my scent. But if In Between was made into a bigger bottle that I could buy continuously, that would be my signature fragrance. It begins with a volatile green shimmer, juniper's gin bite, cold and resinous, cut with the ghostly bitterness of wormwood and the dry snap of pine needle. There is no soothing forest. It's the forest alive, watching, rattling from the inside. Then the smoke comes. Birch tar rising in dark curls, cade oil smoldering at the edges, frankincense burning clean through the middle like an invocation. Labdanum anchors it all with the molten depth, thick, golden, slightly feral. Amid the ashes, there's a strange, flickering beauty, a wisp of champaka flower, veiled and fleeting, and the resinous sweetness of Palo Santo fruit, just enough to blur the line between decay and delight. Patchouli and cedarwood whisper from the scorched floor, while a trace of vanilla simmers beneath, not soft but smoky, as if licked by a flame. Poltergeist is a bitter, burning green. It doesn't haunt gently, It crackles, it seethes, it remains. People wonder what is that? What is that? And some people don't like it, but the ones that do, those are typically the people that you would consider a friend because they have good taste. This is the veil. Oh yes. Oh yes. The veil is never more present than right in this moment. Oh my god, that's so beautiful. I know I'm saying everything's beautiful, but it is. It's everything in this is so gorgeous. I knew I would be obsessed with everything. This one has a richness to it. There's herbal tones, but there's a warmth, a depth. Again, another sensual one. I would consider the veil and ectoplasma to be very sensual to me. Damn. Alright. The veil. To believe in ghosts is to believe in more. In echoes, in softness, in the shimmer between then and now. The veil is not a fragrance you wear, but a presence you follow as if spirited away. It begins with a flicker of clarity, white ash, cold stone, and smoldering cedar. Like stepping into a forgotten place that somehow remembers you, and then it shifts. What was solid begins to shimmer. Memory stirs, warmth flickers, a note rises, then vanishes. It is a scent that oscillates, moving through the full spectrum of sensation. Earth and smoke, silence and skin, grief, awe, surrender. Each breath brings a new ghost. Each exhale lets one go. The veil doesn't ask to be understood, only felt. It lingers, glows, dims, not quite here, not quite gone, a reminder that the world is still enchanted if you let it be. This one is quite a mystery. There is with the white ash and cold stone, there is a coldness to it, but then once it lingers, there's a warmth to it as well. It does oscillate. It definitely does. It moving through the full spectrum of sensation. It really does, and that this is high art. This is just some of the most intensely moving fragrances I've smelled. Now a full warmth has come through, not gourmand in any way. It's different than that. It's very different than that. Very different than, say, with each breath, a new ghost arises, and with each exhale, you let one go. And it is like that. It's hard to explain. I can't explain it better than how they put it, basically. It oscillate, box, it changes from warm to cool to cool to warm. It has this earthy quality to it, yet still a deep sense of something resinous, maybe a musk, but definitely sensual, definitely sexy. I love this one. I absolutely love this collection. This is a treasure. Expect presence, not performance. I just love his approach and view of fragrances. And with this collection, he's really just again proving how insanely talented he is with the writing and with um, the subject matter he chooses to create upon, and just the subject and the title of each fragrance, and you can just tell how much goes into each and every one of these. Was not let down with this. I will run through these quite quickly and take the advice at the end and let myself choose with instinct, wear them accordingly, where I feel most human. And I did have expectations for this, and it was very high, and it exceeded them entirely. It exceeded all expectations. I've been trying to work on not having expectations for anything or anyone, but I did for this, and thankfully, I'm just blown away. Thank you so much for creating this. I extremely enjoyed this experience. It was like reading a book, a novel I couldn't keep away from, but way more real and in person. And after smelling all these, I feel like I am visited by things, by ghosts, or in touch with the veil. Now, for the grand finale, HÄXAN, an extremely beautiful box with distorted golden lines. It, to me, in a way, it forms a face. I see eyes. I see a void, a vortex of some kind. And that is just the slipcover to the box itself. And then you open the box, you have the pamphlet to express all the notes and the story behind it. And then you have the jewel in the box. So beautiful. When I first saw the gradation of the colors, the light gold color to the amber to the brown to the black sphere for the cap, I was immediately entranced, even just by the bottle. Truly just witchy. HÄXAN, Swedish, the witch, a perfume of spellwork and shadow, conjured from roots, resins, and relics. HÄXAN is not merely a fragrance, it is ritual, an elixir born of poison, gardens, and sacred groves, of druid stones and smoldering altars. Each ingredient is chosen not only from its scent, but for its soul, its magic. These are materials that whisper when handled, that remember the old ways. Now, one note that drew me to this fragrance was osmanthus. Osmanthus is my favorite tree that flowers. We have some osmanthus trees all throughout Louisiana. Kind of hard to find, but every time spring comes around, summer and fall, they bloom all throughout the year. And as soon as those blooms blossom, I can smell them in the air, and I'm just like a bloodhound when it comes to osmanthus. I seek it out. I love osmanthus tea. I love the fragrance. I love the structure of the flower. I love its rich, rich history. Osmanthus absolute, the shapeshifter's flower, which I do use osmanthus in my folk work. Golden, decadent, and strange, osmanthus blooms like a ghost at dusk, neither wholly floral nor entirely fruit, but something between. In witchcraft, osmanthus is a flower of transformation, or bridging lives and timelines. Its duality, sweet like apricot yet leathery and animalic, invokes the sacred feminine in her wild, unknowable form. In HÄXAN, it is the seduction of the in-between, a scent that enchants from the periphery of perception. Again, gorgeous direction, model, and photography. I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can, because I'm using my phone. Now, this part of the fragrance itself, the Turkish Rose Absolute, I try to avoid rose most of the time because not a lot of people understand how to use it correctly in fragrance, I believe, and most of the time they're using a very cheap, weird, horrible version of it that does not do roses any justice. But I knew I was in good hands buying this from Heretic. I knew I would love it. I knew they would make rose work for me and everybody else, and they absolutely did that. It comes through so beautifully, and something so floral. I'm typically not extremely attracted to, but this and any florals they use, it's amazing. It comes through strong, but it isn't like an elderly grandmother type rose. It is something ancient yet newly bloomed. The blood rose. There is not a rose for lovers, but for witches, steeped in centuries of spellcraft. Turkish rose is the heart of sacred rites, used to open the heart, to protect against evil, and to anoint the dead. In HÄXAN, Its velvet petals are darkened, bruised with longing. This rose doesn't bloom in sunlight, but beneath eclipses. She is a familiar spirit, and her perfume is a veil between grief and ecstasy. And I get that. There's definitely a depth to this rose I haven't experienced before. Oak moss, absolute. Extremely excited. Clinging to ancient oaks like a green spell, oak moss is the perfume of the forest's hidden intelligence. It is used by witches to bind spells to earth, to steady the spirit when crossing thresholds. Its scent is of damp, dark, mineral-rich soil, lichen after rain, feral, cool, almost ferocious in its truth. In HÄXAN, oak moss is the grounding cord, pulling the ethereal back to bone and root, and that it really does. It brings the two previous florals, the osmanthus and the rose, really down to earth, and it gives it that almost a wet earth type scent. Fossilized amber. Now, I'm a huge fan of amber, and specifically with this being fossilized amber, it's very interesting. This is one that brings a great deal of warmth to the fragrance. It gives it um, it a very luxurious, ancient, deep quality. The Fire of Ancients, fossilized amber. This is no synthetic amber fantasy. This is fossilized flame, drawn from Himalayan resin that has slept beneath stone for 35 million years. Its extraction, through dry distillation, does not coax, but coerces scent from the hardened relic. This results in a tar-like balsamic oil with notes of pine smoke, blackened wood, and ancestral fire. Witches burned amber on coals to summon spirits and embolden spells. In HÄXAN, it smolders, endlessly binding the living to the ancient and the unseen. It's very beautiful, and to have something that old put into a fragrance like this makes it so special. Very, very special to wear. Supernatural musks. The familiar's breath. These are not musks of the body, but of the ether. They cling like a second skin, invisible and alive, pulsing with animalic warmth and astral memory. They hum at a frequency the mundane cannot hear, used by witches to draw familiars and blur the boundary between physical and spiritual. These musks feel like being watched by something ancient and kind. In HÄXAN, they anchor the scent to your aura, fusing soul with smoke. Now I can get into that, and I'm fully into it. Smoky scents are my favorite. That's why Heretic is my favorite, because they do smoke so well. And in this, the supernatural musks, all the musk in it really bring all the qualities of soul into it, as it says, fusing soul with smoke. Um, in each of these notes, I believe it's 5, it brings me to fire, earth, water, air, and soul. And that creates the human. It does smell like witchcraft, but it doesn't necessarily. It smells like witchcraft in like as you're doing the practice, but it smells like the soul of a witch. It smells like the soul of a witch, and that witch being you. I'd like to see what this smells like on my sister or some other people to see how it changes. But on me, mm, that that amber and that oak moss and the musks really come out, like really come out. And then the osmanthus and the Turkish rose are also there, but on me, that amber and the oak moss are really coming through. And that could be different on you, that could be different on the other people that I'll spray it on. HÄXAN is not worn, it is invoked. A fragrance for the intuitive, the spell weaver, the ones who commune in silence and shadow. It leaves a trail of wonder and wood smoke, a talisman and scent, a reminder that the most powerful magic lives in what we cannot see. Agreed. And that is everything. That was amazing to experience, and I highly recommend ordering absolutely anything from them. Try them if you haven't already. And I've never blind bought fragrances before, but for Nosferatu, HÄXAN, and the Ghost samples, all of these have been blind buys. And then you get extra samples with them, and you get to try other things. But every single thing I've tried from them has been an absolute winner. It is art. It is so amazing to be able to wear these. Thank you, Donald Douglas Little, for creating Heretic Parfum and everything that you create. This inspires me in so many different ways, and I am very proud to wear everything and anything from your company, because I see myself in each and every one of these fragrances, and maybe sometime in the future I can be a model in your newspaper, so that'd be cool. But thank you so much for everybody who has stuck along this far and stayed with me, and I hope to see you again soon. My name is Heath Kimball, and this is goodbye for now. Bye bye.